13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
Well, 2 to 4 inches of rain will be possible over the next 7 days. We'll go day by day on the 7th day. Talk about when the best rain chances are coming up.
The millage rate may stay the same in Warner Robins, but that doesn't mean your tax bill will. The increase that some property owners could see.
And in about a month, you can start sending in your completed absentee ballots for the November elections. And you can track it to make sure it gets to your county's election office.
And educating students from 1872 to now 2022, Wyatt School in Macon is celebrating a major milestone coming up.
Well, good Wednesday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the fairgrounds in beautiful Houston County. The time is now 6:31 a.m. here on this September the 7th. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Wanye Reese.
And I'm Caitlin Hack. Thankfully, a dry start to the day, but a humid start to the day.
A very humid start to the day, and change is on the way, Alex.
Yeah, it's kind of a precursor to what we've got coming for the end of the week. The humidity's already started to build back in here into Central Georgia. That's going to give way to showers and storms once we get into the end of the week. Waking up to 72 degrees this morning in Dublin, even though we're looking at Perry. Let's see if the weather clicker, it's playing. I'm hitting the play button. Let's see if it'll go any further. It looks like it just froze up on me, but we'll get this moving, see if we can get the satellite and radar to pop up there. There we go. 73 in Macon and in Warner Robins, 74 in Milledgeville, 71 in Monticello, 74 in Sparta. Okay, the button's working now. Take a look across the southeast, 69 in Columbus, 69 in Chattanooga, with a few scattered showers as you get over towards Alabama and down along the Gulf Coast this morning. Today, look for a high temperature right around 90 with a 30% chance of rain, an occasional shower or two, maybe even a rumble of thunder. Feeling like the mid-90s at times this afternoon, beginning right around the noon hour and carrying us through at 7 p.m. tonight. We'll talk about those afternoon rain chances and the changes we have coming for late week. All of those details, including the weekend forecast, comes your way here in just a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Alex. Warner Robins property owners could face a 12% tax hike this year.
It comes despite city leaders looking to keep the millage rate the same as last year's. Last night, council members tentatively approved a 9.98 millage rate for 2022. But since many property values are higher this year, that means many home and business owners will pay higher bills, possibly 12% or more.
The exact amount would depend on how your property values change. Warner Robins Mayor LaRhonda Patrick says if council does not approve the 2022 millage rate as passed out from the county, it will cost the county, or the city rather, $3 million.
$3 million we've already budgeted for this current fiscal year, and we will actually receive $3 million less in tax revenue, which would mean we're going to have to slash some things in order to pay for operations for this next fiscal year.
Now, council cannot fully approve the millage rate until they host 3 public hearings. Those are scheduled for tomorrow, September 14th and September 19th. You can find more on 13WMAZ.com.
Mayor Patrick also announced the city's annual Christmas parade is heading back to its traditional site. She says this year's parade returns to Watson Boulevard, starting from Davis Drive and going towards the House and Health Pavilion. It all happens on the first Saturday in December.
Well, an arts center in downtown Macon gets a green light from one Bibb County group. The Design Review Board voted yesterday to pass the Otis Redding Foundation's plans for the center. Now, originally, the county's Planning and Zoning Commission questioned the center's modern looks. The building is set to feature an addition to the site of the old New Way Wieners, which burned down. It also includes studio space, practice rooms, and administrative offices for the foundation's after-school and summer programs, and an amphitheater.
It's not just about what's on the outside of the building, but it's more important what's on the inside. We feel like we've designed a structure that certainly fits right perfectly in the heart of downtown.
The next stop for the Otis Redding Center for the Arts is before Bibb Planning and Zoning. They get a final say at their meeting this upcoming Monday.
6:34 now. In other news we're following this morning, we've learned more details in the death of a Central Georgia child who fell from a resort balcony in Florida. A Panama City Beach police report says the child's father told officers that he put his son to bed at midnight on Saturday. The father was unaware how or when the boy left the room. He said his son always cries and immediately comes to his bedside when he wakes up from sleeping. Police confirmed to 13 WMAZ that the child's family was visiting Florida from Warner Robins. This morning, the investigation continues after a shooting and wreck left a man dead in Dublin. Dublin police say it happened Sunday night at the intersection of Academy Avenue and Kingsby Street. An officer found 24-year-old Joshua Miller shot in a car. Miller also had a gun with him. The car was stopped in front of a home and had damage to the front end. A woman inside of the home said she heard several shots just before Miller crashed. She said she asked the 24-year-old who shot him, and he said that he did not know. Miller later died at a local hospital.
The time is 6:35. In your state news, Georgia and federal investigators say DNA identified a dead truck driver as the 1988 killer of a young woman in northwest Georgia. This week, they announced that genetic genealogy points to Henry Frederick Haas Wise as the killer of Stacy Lynn Chohorsky. Chohorsky was a 19-year-old Michigan teen who went missing about 34 years ago. Her remains weren't identified until earlier this year using genetic genealogy. An FBI agent says it's the first known case where the technique identified both a victim and killer. Today, Governor Brian Kemp will travel to northwest Georgia to survey flooding damage in Chattooga County. It comes as people in the county work to restore their water service. They said yesterday taps for 8,000 customers in Somerville, Menlo, and surrounding areas will stay dry through at least today. Workers report some progress in restarting pumps and repairing electrical components at the Somerville water treatment plant. Flooding over the weekend damaged the plant, prompting a boil water advisory.
Well, believe it or not, we're less than 9 weeks away from the November 8th midterm elections. If you plan to vote by mail, the window to apply for an absentee ballot is now open. Once you complete it, you can actually track its status from the time you mail it until it gets accepted. Just use the free ballot tracks tool. Georgia's Secretary of State office first implemented this statewide in 2020. Now, Nancy Thompson sent her first absentee ballot in the last presidential election, and she doesn't plan on looking back.
It is still just as secure as it ever was. It's still as secure as it was when you were sending checks in the mail to make bill payments. And the fact that you can actually track it so that you know where it is, where it's going, and when it gets there, it's super helpful, and it gives you some reassurance because honestly, it's probably better tracking than like FedEx or UPS at this point.
The Macon Board of Elections says you have until October the 28th to request an absentee ballot. We have a link to the ballot tracks website in this story on our website. You know where to go. It's 13wmaz.com. The time is now 6:37 a.m. here on your Wednesday morning. I mean, man, it was nice. We were having some mornings when the, humidity was really not that bad, but it's back in full force this morning.
That's right. It is letting us know it's still technically summer.
Yes, we don't begin fall until I believe it's September 22nd this year.
Okay.
But even then, still going to be looking at some humid mornings, especially this weekend, because that humidity is going to translate into some rainfall here in central Georgia. As we take a live look over downtown, we've got temperatures in the 70s, 73 in Macon, 72 in Warner Robins, 74 in Eatonton, 71 to get the morning started in Monticello, and 74 out there in Treutlen County and Soperton. Take a look across the southeast, mainly quiet, picking up a few showers there in south central Alabama. Quiet as you get over towards Little Rock, Arkansas this morning, but down along the coast, this is a developing low pressure system, and that is going to send a surge of tropical moisture into central Georgia. So let's check it out here on Future View as we head through the day today. A few morning showers will be possible. I actually think we'll be mainly quiet through the afternoon. 1 or 2 storms. The better chance is actually going to come this evening. Here's 11 p.m. Notice we get a few storms in and around central Georgia, and I know that was showing just a few green splotches, but I do think we have a high likelihood of those actually being heavy downpours. Then once we get into tomorrow, a slightly different story. Notice we pick up the activity right around the noon hour. This is how it's been going in the summertime with this scattered showers and storms, heavy downpours, gusty winds in a few spots, but overall about a 60% chance of rain as we get into Thursday. And then once we get into Friday, this is when the heavy rain starts. So here we are Friday afternoon there at about 5 p.m. Notice the GFS and the Euro both in agreement of widespread rain across central Georgia. That does mean for football Friday night, we will have a likelihood of rain. Now, whether or not we see thunderstorms, that remains to be seen. We'll have to see where the lightning develops in this rainfall, if it develops, and if it does so, then of course that would put the delay there on the football games. But you can play in the rain otherwise, just as long as we don't have the lightning around. Once we get into Saturday, of course, we've got Georgia and Sanford probably looking at rainy conditions up there in Athens for that. And then once we get into Sunday, this is when the uncertainty begins to build in a little bit. Notice the Euros keeping the rain around, the GFS not so much. So all in all, still keeping a rain chance there on Sunday, but we're going to bring that down to about 60% as opposed to the 70 and 80% we have on Friday and on Saturday. A check of the tropics this morning. 3 storms to talk about. The first is here, Hurricane Danielle. It's in the north central Atlantic. It's not going to do anything notable for us. It's just going to go up there, spin around, and head towards Portugal there as a remnant low. We also have Hurricane Earl. This formed just to the north of Puerto Rico, and this now is actually going to pass just to the southeast of Bermuda as a major hurricane there early Friday morning. A tropical storm warning now in effect there before making its way into the north central Atlantic. And then let's check in on the Pacific. We've got Hurricane K, winds of 100 miles an hour. This is a Category 2 hurricane that's just south of Cabo San Lucas. And watch this as I play this forward now. It's going to make its way up the coast of the Baja California, close to San Diego, potentially as a tropical storm still with winds of 40 miles an hour. Always notable when that happens because it's very rare, especially if they get rainfall in Southern California from a tropical system. Checked out our temperatures here in central Georgia through the day today, into the 80s fairly quickly. A high temperature of about 90 with a 30% chance of rain. And the weekend forecast, not looking great. A 70% chance of rain there on Saturday, 60% on Sunday. Then into next week, high temperatures hanging out in the low 80s, 83 for Monday and Tuesday with decreasing rain chances, a 40% chance of rain there on Monday and 20% on Tuesday.